Yo, 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 what's up? Jivin here with another video. So today we're gonna have a little bit of a story time. As you can probably tell by the title and thumbnail, I used to be in a fraternity in college. And while I was in the frat, I was a Fortnite streamer, which made for a lot of interesting moments to say the least. Before we start this video, it would mean the world to me if you hit that like and sub button and also use code JIVINTV in the item shop. Yes, sir. So I made a TikTok back in the day talking about what it was like playing Fortnite in college, because this was right when Fortnite came out and everybody was playing. So I initially lived in a dorm my freshman year of college, and my neighbors were actually the ones that got me into the game. Basically, we'd be playing Fortnite like right next door to each other, and a lot of them did not have headsets because they were just straight bots. And so we would just be yelling comms across the hallway and like screaming anytime we got a victory. We would have like massive celebrations in the hallway. It was so funny. And our dorm supervisor would be playing with us. So basically we'd just be screaming all the way down the hall with our doors open. And people must have thought we were absolutely insane. Because when I say we were screaming, like, oh my god, I mean it. Especially this kid that was across the hall from me, he would literally rage so hard. And he did not seem like the type of person that would actually care about what happens in a video game. But holy crap, dude, he was like paper. You seen those memes of paper like slamming desks? Yeah, that was this guy. Not that he was paper, but he was basically paper, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so that was how I initially started getting into Fortnite. It was literally the best. Anyways, if you don't know what a fraternity is, it's basically a big old house. They're really known for partying and stuff. But the main idea of a fraternity is that you're surrounded by people that are really similar to you and have similar mindsets. And so it's just basically like a place to build friends and connections. Everybody just sees frats as like party houses, and it's where everybody goes to get drunk and this and that. But that's not what it was like at all. Like, sure, there were parties, but it was more so just a place to build friends. But don't get me wrong, the house was definitely chaotic. Like, people were always being so loud, roughhousing and stuff. So that made it really interesting to be a streamer there. But before I get into that, I want to talk about this thing called a rush event. So when the fraternities are recruiting new people to their family, basically, they host these rush events, which is basically like grinding for a fraternity house. You show up to the rush events, try to meet a bunch of people, and build a name for yourself within their fraternity. And then eventually they decide who gets in. So one of their rush events was a Fortnite and Chill. When I heard that they were hosting a Fortnite and Chill, I was like, oh bet, I'm showing up. So I showed up. And there were just a bunch of like TVs set up all around their main room of their house. And keep in mind, the house was literally like a castle. And I don't mean like it was big. I mean, it was literally designed like a castle, which might have been the coolest part about the fraternity. Everybody around campus just called it the castle because it looked like one. So anyways, I walk into the castle, getting ready for this rush event. And when I walk in, the main room, which looked like royalty, like the chairs were like thrones, the tables all looked ancient and royal. So I walk in and there's just TVs all around this place with chairs set up, and it just looked amazing. There was food everywhere, all the brothers were just chilling, talking, there's music blasting. It was good vibes. So anyways, I just started mingling, trying to meet people, but I want to hop into these Fortnite games. And so there was like a main area that was like the main display. Everybody was watching those games while talking. And so I just went up to the main stage and I hopped right in. Everybody was like, oh, don't choke, don't be nervous. Actually, be nervous. They were trying to psych me out and stuff just to mess with me. And so it's me and like two frat brothers and then one other person that's rushing. And we make it to the end game. And then everybody dies except for me, and there's like 15 people left. So it's me as a solo squad going in, and this is when I was still a bot at the game, keep in mind. And I started sweating my butt off, and then everybody's like super engaged, cheering me on. And when I got the dub, I mean, they started blasting music, like throwing stuff around and started chanting my name. It was insane. It was actually the frat that gave me my name, because people didn't know whether to call me Ivan or Jack, because Ivan was my real name and Jack was my nickname, and so they just called me Jivin. Vibin' Jivin', baby. But yeah, that was one of the big reasons I got into the frat. Also, my grandpa was in the same exact fraternity, so that helped a lot. And on top of that, I was having a lot of conversations with people about like outer space and stuff, because I was studying astrophysics, which is the science of space. And people thought that was really cool because that's a really rare thing to study. So I got recruited. The actual initiation to the fraternity was so dope. Like, it's nothing like bad or dangerous or anything, but it was like super mysterious and suspenseful. And there was like music and like Greek doors and stuff, because I don't know if you know this, but fraternities are Greek. So there was some like ancient Greek role playing, which was crazy. Nothing sus, don't worry. Let me just say there were multiple points where I was blindfolded. I'm just throwing out random facts, but yeah, it was awesome. So anyways, once I actually got into the fraternity and I moved into the castle, turns out my roommate, I had a random roommate assigned because I wasn't really that close with anyone in the frat yet, but my roommate turned out to be the dopest guy ever. And he was a League of Legends gamer, and he was like a top tier player. So we had the perfect dynamic going. We both had, our PCs in our room. Our room was actually like the smallest room in the entire house. It was literally the size of a closet. But people loved the atmosphere of our room so much that we would have like 10 people in our room. There'd be like 3 people on each bed, and they'd just all be chilling in our room while me and my roommate are gaming. It was probably the best room in the house. Everybody would show up there. But that made it so hard to stream, like you have no idea. Because they'd just be doing dumb stuff in the background, and I was always scared they were gonna do something really stupid. And at that point, before I got into the frat, I had a family-friendly stream going. And frat brothers aren't always the most family-friendly. They curse a lot. But needless to say, it was so fun. Everybody in the frat was super cool, and we just always had a good time. Also, all my frat brothers played Fortnite too. It wasn't like I was the only one. This was that point in time where everybody played Fortnite. At that point in time, I wasn't really growing too much just because I had so much on my plate. Being in a fraternity is actually really time consuming because you have to go to a ton of events. You're actually required to go to a lot of the parties. And then on top of that, they really hold you up to your academic standards. Like they try to push you to study as much as possible. And like my classes were intense. Astrophysics is not easy. A lot of the times our teachers would make up their own problems. Like they wouldn't assign problems from the book. They would make up their own so that we wouldn't be able to look it up. They'd literally invent some weird problem and have a super complex solution made for that problem. And it would take us up to like 10 hours sometimes to solve a problem, sometimes even longer. But it definitely pushed you to learn, instead of looking up all the answers online if they were giving us textbook problems. That's probably why I did so good, is because I would actually push through and solve those problems, and a lot of people would just feed off other people's answers. And so because I was able to solve the problems, I was actually able to do really well on the tests, because those problems were always a lot easier than the homework problems. Anyways, I'm getting a little off track here. The general conclusion is living in a frat house while being a gamer was super fun, and everybody was so supportive. A lot of people might think like, oh, being a gamer in college, you get bullied and stuff. But that's not true at all, People aren't gonna pick on you for having a fun hobby. And almost every college student nowadays likes playing video games too, even the girls. I had a group of 3 girls that I'd hang out with like every single day, and they'd just be chilling, playing video games with me. A lot of them were asking me to teach them how to play Fortnite and stuff. Needless to say, they were complete bots. But hey, I taught them to get like 1 kill or something. Yo, maybe that's why I became a tips and tricks person. It's just from teaching girls how to play. But yeah, if you're a gamer and you're going to college, don't worry about it. Just make sure you take some time to build connections and build friendships. Otherwise, college is going to be a lonely place, my friend. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time, learned a little more about the vibe and jiving. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys in the next video. Toodaloo! You have other guns than the RPG.